A Cowboys insider has revealed multiple sleeper targets for the team, and we got to break them both down, including their strengths and their weaknesses, and why we should or should not be taking a close look at them. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Cowboys Football 365. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 5.1% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into the news for today. We're going to start it off with, if you're a Longhorns fan, hold your breath, because we are taking a look at an Oklahoma Sooner, and that is their number one edge rusher in Mason Thomas. From our insider, Tommy Yarish, should the Cowboys decide to switch things up schematically under new DC Christian Parker, Mason Thomas could be a great fit in an odd front. And the wider he plays off the line, the better chance he has to get those game-changing rushes that the Dallas defense is searching for. The current measurables for Thomas may not necessarily look the best for his position at 6'2", 249 pounds with what appears to be shorter arms. Where he makes up for is his get-off, bend, and speed in his rushes that propelled him to the first team All-SEC honors in 2025 and could lead to a great week in Indianapolis for the scouting combine. While there are some instances where bigger, longer arm tackles can get set and stonewall Thomas's rushes, Thomas also has the invaluable trait of stepping up as a closer in big moments of games, generating pressure and getting sacks when the defense needs it. If you follow college football, you know the name Mason Thomas, but the problem is you probably know the name because it felt like every single big game that Oklahoma played in down the stretch, you were talking about how Mason Thomas was on the sideline watching. So unfortunately, one of his problems is he missed a lot of games due to injury, but there are a ton of reasons to draft this prospect, and we need an edge rusher, so this is a position of need. Some of his strengths reported by NFL.com, high octane rusher with explosive takeoff up the field. So high energy, as soon as the ball snapped, he is off the line of scrimmage quickly. First 3 steps to the top of the rush are fast and furious. Again, highly explosive guy, highly energetic guy, speedy edge rusher. Has the bend and ankle flexion to dip under taller tackles. When you are watching edge rushers, you know you're looking, or if you're scouting them, you know you're looking for what is called bend, which is pretty much how low can they get. You want to drop at pretty much just want to get as low as possible while maintaining your speed and keeping your balance. As an edge rusher, you want to dip the inside shoulder or whatever shoulder is towards the tackle that you're going up against. So if you are going against the left tackle, meaning you're coming off the right side of the defensive line, you would drop your left shoulder. You want to make that a small target for the tackle because you do not want him getting his hands on you. However, you have to make sure you keep your balance, because if you get too low and you're not balanced, they're going to be easily able to push you over. Will surprise tackles with his ability to convert speed to power. Carves out a more shallow path in the pocket against plotting tackles. So this is just more technique that Mason Thomas has mastered. With those shorter arms, he's going to have very, very sound technique to trick these tackles into thinking he's doing one thing and being able to collapse the pocket. Darts across the blocker's face and into gaps with excellent pad level. They always talk about in football, the low man always wins. You want to make sure you're keeping your shoulder pads low to the ground. That's what your pad level is. And offensive linemen, especially tackles, they always want to protect from the defensive end that they're going up against from crossing their face, which is when the end starts on the outside and cuts across your face and gets to the inside. The reason why you don't want him rushing up the inside is because then it is more difficult for your quarterback to get away from the pass rusher. If the guy goes around you to the outside, your quarterback can run to the other side of the pocket to get away from that defender. If he comes right up the middle, your quarterback better have some athleticism or he is going to get sacked. Able to chase and capture running backs with exceptional pursuit speed. So we all already know this is a speedy, athletic player. Recovers from awkward angles to tackle. I think this one kind of speaks for itself. I'm not sure if there's a deeper scouting term here that I'm missing. Weaknesses: gets hung up on base blocks due to lack of length. We've talked already about his lack of arm length that is going to limit him at the next level. When it comes to tackles and edge rushers, we are always talking about arm length. Has trouble maintaining his hand stack and holding his ground. Pretty much in the run game, You don't want to get driven back. He has trouble with not getting driven back. Was engulfed and pushed around in Oklahoma's loss to Texas. Red River rivalry. Oklahoma was a favorite, but they were not able to beat the Texas Longhorns, and R. Mason Thomas pushed around in that game. Long tackles are able to widen out his entry points on vertical rushes. So I imagine this means he is getting too far up the field in vertical rushes, because these speed rushers, they want to get around the tackle instead of through the tackle. And sometimes if the tackle has good footwork, he's able to just move, and kind of make it so by the time you run around him, you're way past the quarterback and you've essentially taken yourself out of the play. Hand fighting could use more polish at this junction. Hand fighting is going to need to be something that is on point at the NFL with his shorter arms, because tackles are going to get their hands on him fast. And then, like I said earlier, missed multiple games in 2022, 3 in 2025. So is he going to have injury concerns in the NFL? He certainly might, because he has shown injuries in the past. But let's kind of running out of time here. Let's get on with the next guy. It's going to be Golday, a linebacker / edge rusher from the Cincinnati Bearcats, who had a pretty good year. I believe they didn't end ranked, but they had a pretty good year. Let's see what our insider Tommy Yarish has to say about Golday. Golday is a massive athletic defender at 6'4", 240 pounds, and still has lots of room for growth. He flies to the football, and while diagnosing plays is something he'll need reps to improve at, he has all the tools necessary to continue putting up big tackle numbers. With 104 total tackles in 2025, Golday led the Bearcats defense in tackles by a margin of 31. He was also tied for the team lead in sacks with 3.5, and is aggressive to work off both blocks at the second level and when chasing the quarterback around in the backfield. While Golday may not be a first-round option, should the Cowboys acquire a day 2 pick in some form or fashion and still have a need at linebacker, Golday could be a player that makes sense with good testing numbers at the combine. So a lot of the times when an NFL team trades away picks from a certain round, they will make moves to try to reacquire picks in those specific rounds. Our second round pick went to the Jets for Quinnen Williams. Our third round pick went to the Steelers for George Pickens. So we don't have picks on day 2 at all. Do not be surprised if we trade down from 20 to acquire more picks in that range. But pretty much what our insider is saying is Golday is going to be someone that it's possible that we take, unless we take Sonny Styles in the first round. If we take Styles, then linebacker would likely no longer be a need, because we have a first round linebacker and DeMarvin Overshown, so we wouldn't need to pick up Golday as well. For the strengths for Jake Golday, he is an explosive athlete with impressive size, attacks blocks, and constricts run flow with heavy hands. So we know that Jerry Jones wants guys that are good at stopping the run, and he's kind of prioritizing that over guys that are able to rush the passer. Heavy hands means once he gets his hands on the offensive guy, that guy's not going to be able to get away from him. Scrapes with tempo and alterations to leverage the run. So a good run defender, effective use of hands to play off blockers and make sudden tackles, comes to balance and has good stopping power as a tackler. So just more stuff that we're hearing. Good run defender, not easily moved in the run game, knows where he's supposed to be, and when he gets his hands on you, he's a very effective tackler. Not easily manipulated out of his zone by the quarterback's eyes. We can see it on Sundays all the time. The quarterback will look one way and throw the ball back somewhere else to try to open up zones. But Jake Golday, whether it's from watching film or just from experience as a football player, he can tell when the quarterback is actually looking somewhere else versus when the quarterback is just trying to move him, and he is not moved out of the position that he's supposed to be in. And the final one, just for extra utilization for an NFL team, can immediately step in as a kick cover talent. One of the ways that a lot of day 3 players start out in the NFL is on special teams. It is a very underrated part of what makes a good NFL team, is having good special teams. And you love players that are willing to put in the effort on special teams and are willing just to help out the team in any way they can. Onto the weaknesses of Jake Golday: average quickness to diagnose and read the play design. So we heard that his, upstairs, some of his football knowledge has to be improved a little bit. will work under blocks and lose angle on occasion, needs a quicker downhill trigger to blow up blocking schemes. So that is, needs to more quickly identify when the ball is being handed off so he can get in his gap faster and blow up blocking schemes more effectively. Long legs with average short area ability and coverage. So we heard that he is an explosive athlete, but his short area agility is where he needs work in that department. Could struggle covering running backs if asked, which is something that he's going to have to work on. Linear pass rush with below average elusiveness. So we're pretty much hearing that overall he's a good athlete, but in the short area and his change of direction needs a little bit of work, and his elusiveness needs a little bit of work. But this is still a sleeper option for the Cowboys at the linebacker position because, let's be honest, we need help at everywhere on the defensive side of the football. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around all the way through, thank you for doing so. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Cowboys.